you all hear me okay? Yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful movie, huh? And now, it is my distinct honor and a true privilege to bring to this stage the one, the only, Mr. Keith Coogan. Oh, he's right here. Thank you for joining us, Keith.
Thank you. Thank you
Absolutely.
for having me. My God, this is amazing. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you to the regular. The Frida community is amazing. The cinema is amazing. They have deep cuts. This is almost too popular of a movie to play at this theater. And I really, honestly, thank you guys for coming out. I don't think I've seen it with a house this great since 1991 when it came out.
Yes, we have a great crowd here tonight.
Thank you for laughing at all the good funny spots and all that stuff. Really means a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you. And Adam, look at the, did everyone see Adam over here as our Brian, our clown dog server? That's all we got. Come on up here, Adam. So he's evoking the nostalgia of the 50s and even has the clown dog bag. Yeah, this is great. Everything down here. Turn around, let's see the back. On the wedge cap, of course. This is fantastic.
You don't know Josh coming on from Baltimore.
Yep.
So he had to wear the Baltimore Orioles cap.
Yep, he had to. Thank you, Adam, and thanks for...
The off-duty clown dog.
Yeah! It's amazing. Thanks, man. Thanks.
Appreciate it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Keith, you ready to answer some questions?
Sure, let me sit down here. Okay,
All right,
here
let's
we
get
go.
comfortable. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna open the floor to the audience out there. When I call on one of you, Sammy will come to you and bring you the microphone. You can ask Keith, and he should have an answer to them. All right, let's open the floor up, folks. You want right over there in the Union Jack shirt?
What was your inspiration on becoming an actor?
Oh, it was, I was watching Zoom and other shows like Electric Company and Sesame Street and Via Allegra and Romper Room. And my mom was walking by as I'm watching TV, I think I'm 5, and she heard me say, I want to be on TV. And I make a flippant joke about, all the kids on TV look happy, and I figured if I was on TV, then I would be happy. We were living broke on welfare. My mother wasn't talking to the family. She was a hippie runaway. And so I was born to a very young mother, 16, so it was really rough until I started working. Just lucky, I got a kid agent and started doing commercials and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed it. First day, I just love the fake wall. A grip goes, come here, let me show you something. Like, yeah, and he goes, on this side, it looked like brick. And on the other side, it's just the back, it's fiberglass, it's nothing, it's all fake. And I really liked the movie making part of it. Even though it was a commercial, it's still the basic kind of fake thing. And I understood that. And I don't know, I think it's in the DNA because my mom is a writer and a comic. My grandfather was an actor. My great-grandfather was a vaudeville performer. And so it might be something in the blood. It also just terrible low self-esteem and the ability to try to please everybody. Being an actor, you try to, if you can crack up your family when things are rough, then, you could crack up other people. And some of my favorite movies are like Sullivan's Travels, where I think it's important sometimes just to make funny movies. Not every movie has to solve, every crisis. So I just wanted to entertain people, I think. When I started to see what it was like to doing it, I had fun doing the process, and it always depended on the script and the story and stuff like that. Yeah, as a kid, I never had much choice. You go up for everything, and you kind of do everything that you get. And so I kept working with really cool people. One of my first commercials was with Henry Fonda, a Viewmaster Viewer commercial. And I'm like, wow, he's been doing it for a long time, and maybe I could too. So I took it as a career. What are the steps? What's the work you have to do? And headshots and a resume and like studying and stuff like that. And I just really liked it, even when it's hard. It was like, I would rather fail in this industry than succeed in anything else. And I think it's something you know. Just asking that question sounds like it's something you might be into. Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right. Right down here in the front, young lady.
Sir, in the entirety of your career, you lived in the 80s and the 90s a very, I don't know the word. What was that like for you, being in a movie in such a transitional part of cinema for you?
I think there's two kinds of film. There's stuff that's like legendary, Doctor Strangelove, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Why am I just going to Kubrick movies? There's something about like, because film, when my grandfather died, they would play Addams Family marathons during Thanksgiving. And so we could have dinner and put a TV on in the other room and hear our grandfather's, my grandfather's voice coming through the room and he's gone, and I realized that that's pretty permanent. And so that's why, I see people that kind of walk through it and they don't know their lines, or they get nervous or something, and it's like, it can be forever. It's definitely hard to find a lot of the stuff I did in the 70s, 80s, theatrical specials and stuff like that, but it's way too easy to find some of the bad stuff I did. I mean, there's times where I could cry, and there's times where I couldn't, and I had the little, the glycerin drops, and I'm just like, oh man, I didn't even show up to work that day. But I give myself a break because I was a kid, kind of a thing. What was the question?
I don't recall the rest of it, but.
What was it like being in such
So,
what was it like being in such a transitional part of movies from the 80s to 90s?
yeah. I think I recognized that John Hughes had opened up a market that wasn't there before, and that teenage stuff tended to be exploitive. I was a teenage werewolf or something like that. And then we finally got into caring with these kids, which was the abandoned generation. I was born in 1970. Nobody had less supervision than me. There was no photographic or video evidence of anything I did when I was a kid. I got away with murder. Well, one time. And so now I was auditioning. I had understood the power of film when I was about 8. My mother had reconnected with my grandfather, and there was a screening of The Kid in LA. And all of a sudden, I saw all these adults talking to my grandfather and kind of feting him, and I was like, oh, I guess he is a big deal. And I saw the movie, and I went, wow, even though it's now it's a 103-year-old movie or whatever, I went, that's what I want to do. Not McDonald's commercials, not theatrical specials. I want to do movies. So I auditioned for, and here's the thing about perseverance of staying, if it's acting something you want to do, I auditioned for but didn't get The Shining, E.T., Goonies, Gremlins, Stand By Me, Christmas Story, The Toy, name it, Dream a Little Dream, License to Drive. And so you get close, and you're almost there, and then, I finally got Adventures in Babysitting, which was really a big break. And I thank Chris Columbus for going to bat with me. I had a long history with Disney. They were like, well, yeah, Adventures in Babysitting right there.
Thank you, sir. We brought a DVD.
And then don't tell them on the Babysitters yet, thanks for coming and seeing this. It's funny, it's just great dialogue. But it was originally called The Real World, about her going, like a secret of my success, working girl, the real world, her going to the real world. And then MTV had a reality show and they had to change the title. And they, market research said, the new title of your movie is Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And I went, really? A second? I was shanghaied in this one because I didn't sign on to do a second Babysitter movie. But that's really the only thing it could be called. And then I also really love that it kind of continued on. into the remake, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead on BET Plus. You have to see this. It is a loving tribute. It is a remix, I want to call more.
Yes.
Like a remix. They take something, move around, shift up characters. And,
Oh, yeah.
I was a part of it. 3 of us have cameos in it, and shot it behind the scenes. And it was interesting to be on the set, and half of the crew were like, "Nah, I never saw the original." Oh.
Gotta
I'm
see
like,
the original first.
well, the movie was older than some of them, and I totally got that.
Right.
And then some had, like, Simone Joy Jones hadn't, but when she was getting close to, then she went and saw the movie and stuff like that. So, I just appreciate something that we did that I thought was silly. It could have been pinned. What works, and it's so pinned to the time with the smoking and the Lotus 1, 2, 3 and Diet Sprite and Tab and like whatever, every referee could smell what week of the 90s that movie was in. So the 80s, so I thank John Hughes, obviously Steven Spielberg. Chris Columbus was a part of it because he wrote Goonies, Gremlins, and Young Sherlock Holmes. He knew how to talk as young people without talking down to them, and also something that parents could sit for an hour and a half and go, so that wasn't bad. It was actually like a movie, not just made for kids.
Oh, yeah.
So I got lucky, I think, in that Adventures of Babysitter and Don't Tell Mom doesn't seem to be made for kids. There are kids as the subject matter, but it was a bunch of subversive adults making those movies. Thank you for the question.
Very good question. Thank you. All right, who else we got?
I want to interject just 1 second, Keith. You brought up your grandfather a couple times, and I think a lot of the theater knows who he is, but there may be a few who don't. Could you tell us a little bit about your esteemed grandfather?
Yes, he was part of the Coogan Vaudeville act. My great-grandfather and great-grandmother and Chaplin could come one night to see my great-grandfather do his bit. And then my grandfather closed the show, doing Inherit the Wind or something, and then he did the shimmy, which was banned in Los Angeles at the time. Showgirls around at the nightclubs couldn't do it, it was an obscene dance, but a 4-year-old boy is hysterical. And Chaplin had just lost a child in stillbirth and was divorcing Mildred, who was underage. He was going through a rough time. And he got inspiration when he saw my grandfather, and he asked he went backstage and to talk to my great-grandmother, but he was out of makeup, so she didn't know who the hell he was. She goes, "No, you're not taking my kid somewhere and work with him." They worked it all out and came back another day, and he met with him and then did The Kid, which I had read, he was the first child actor to star in a movie. And globally too. The world's first film child star, which consequently makes him the world's first ex-child star, the first former child star. As he grew up, worked less, married Betty Grable, that was a good bonus. He hits 21 and there was a tragedy where my great-grandfather, who loved to do 3 things, drink, drive fast, and chase women, the car went off the road, killing him, Junior Durkin, writer for Jackie Coogan Productions and a ranch hand for the Coogan Ranch. My grandfather was the only one to live through the accident. And the great-grandfather was supposed to have the trust fund, $1 million trust fund for the kid. My grandfather earned between $2 and $4 million in that money. So it's about 50 to 60 million in today's money. So after my great-grandfather died, my great-grandmother married the business manager, and they went through the money. Oil wells, cars, booze, furs, trips. So when he turned 21 and went for his money, it was gone. And hit a sewer. They found out there was about $250,000 left in the whole thing, and the judge split it between the mom and my grandfather. My grandfather got $126,000 after paying back Wallace Beery, who had paid for attorneys and the attorney cut. He walked with about $40,000 of everything he'd ever earned since he was 4 years old. And he blew it all in one night at a party in New York at the Waldorf Astoria. He wasn't good with money anyway. And then he, served in the war. He was in the Burma campaign, General Wingate, flying gliders behind him. The first U.S. serviceman behind enemy lines in Burma. He returned to no work. He's in uniform over at Betty Davis's cantina. And There's nothing going on, Jack. And he picks up westerns and Mamie Van Doren movies and sci-fi stuff. And then he gets some TV and some more TV, and then he's Uncle Fester. He gets a comeback. He's the world's biggest star at 5, and then at 50, he gets to come back. And on TV, this new medium that wasn't even there when he was a child. And I'm 54. No. I'm older than my grandfather was when he played Uncle Fester. And I'm really bucking to play it. So we're gonna have to shave the head and then make him, I'm totally gonna play Fester. The fuck is Nick Kroll doing Fester's voice for? I should be doing Fester. My God! Thank you. I get a little excited. It just turns into Fester anyway. My gosh.
I thought that was her grandfather right here with the
That's
voice.
terrible.
But yeah, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So, and then they made a labor law. And this is the thing that I love is to this day, every kid that works in the industry is protected by the Coogan Child Actor Labor Bill. And they get working hour restrictions, 100 protections, a set teacher, that's a social worker. Yeah, it's fantastic. So great, I got onto this job. And it was the second day of this thing, and I'm signing in the paperwork. And somebody asked the first AD, you go, oh, how was yesterday? I heard you had a lot of kids. And the first AD goes, yeah, they were fine. It was that damn Coogan paperwork. And I went, hi, Keith Coogan, Jackie Coogan's grandson.
I have a question for you as well, Keith. Of course, back in '91, obviously, Christine Applegate was about as hot as you could get back then, married with children, obviously. Was it intimidating working alongside of her, knowing, what she was known for and everything? Was it intimidating, or were you nervous around her, or?
No, it might have been if I didn't know her from before. So we were friends from before. I'd already been over to her house. There was a group of kids that went to Excelsior, like Scott Grimes and Christina, and maybe some of the Zappa kids, maybe Lala Sloatman, Frank's niece. So I hung out with Frank at Frank's Zappa's house and all these other kids, and then it opened up the world to meeting Christina way before we did that. And also we'd seen her around, there's these young Oscars, and Youth and Film Awards, and we dress up in the thing and give out awards and everything like that. And so one year it was, they have little, variety acts between the awards, just like the Oscars. It's terrible. But one year it was, a special dance performance by Christina Applegate. And then a couple of numbers later, it was Corey Feldman.
Oh, wow.
So that was one particular year of the Young Artist Awards. So when we got the movie and started working together, there was no get to know you, there's no hi or anything. It was, let's just get to work. It was wonderful. Oh my God. And she had just come off the first season of Married with Children.
Right.
And they had her gain a little weight for this so that she'd look younger. So she had about 15 pounds. And then she had to drop it right at Wrap to get back into Kelly Bundy outfits for season 2.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. That is interesting.
I want to say that I don't think the show had debuted yet.
Yeah, hadn't it?
I think it was coming out that fall. So we shot the movie, then Married with Children came out, was released, and then the movie came out, and then the second season of Married with Children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we have to thank Ed O'Neill because they were friends with the producers, and he goes, I can get the script to Christina. Yeah.
That is amazing. Thank you for telling us that. What do we have now? The lights are so bright. Sir, right down there on the right.
So at what point did you realize, what was the defining moment when you realized just the love and cult status this movie had for us kids in the 80s and 90s and how much people loved it?
It just wore you down because it never stopped playing on HBO. Yeah, it had a $1 million ad campaign for the DVD release. By the way, it was released on DVD before VHS. This tells you what in the early 90s what was happening. $1 million displays with the babysitter's legs in the store and a contest to give away the Buick. So you could play a game of rate the costumes, rate Keith Coogan's performance, 999. And if you had the right code, you'd win the Buick. Apparently somebody in the UK won it, they couldn't do the shipping, they figured it out, I think they got the car, somewhere the car. Someone knows where this Buick is, it's a beautiful Buick. There are car clubs that hit me up for the Buick here and the Book of Love cars. I'm like, I don't know much about the cars. ADD, where are we?
Oh, like his question, you're asking to repeat his question? I think he was asking about, like, the cult status of the movie on...
So, after it was on VHS, then it hit HBO. HBO was the co-producer. It's MTV, HBO, Warner Brothers. It was, and Outlaw Films. Outlaw Films, those producers had done Sex, Lies, and Videotape. So, and this was before we went to go do the movie. We knew that they were pretty subversive. I was like, we can do everything we want in this movie. They never really cut anything. So and it wasn't edited for TV. There's some edits when the movie came out. You little lazy little prick was turned to lazy little punk before anybody ever saw it. We went and dubbed that before it was ever released. What are you queers doing in our car turned to what are you queens doing in our car? So good, obvious changes. Holy shit turned into Liza. It was interesting. And then it hit and it played every summer. It played every summer. There was no chance for it to get into nostalgia. It just kept playing oh, it's on. And I was this way. I love the movie. I think it's just so well written. There's like a funny, every 2 lines is a quotable line. There's 5 quotes every single page in that script. And if it's on, I go, oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm watching Don't Tell Mom until the end. And it's a sweet little film. Thank you for enjoying it. These years, I don't know how. At one point, they started saying cult, and I went, you mean it didn't make money? It did, it made its money. It wasn't a runaway box office hit, but it certainly made money on every step of the way. And cult, I guess, I don't know, something that, I ran the numbers, 300 million people in the US at the time, and at the box office and how much per ticket. It was about 3 million people saw it in theaters. 1 out of 100. So it helps me keep good perspective. It ain't, Castaway. It's not Titanic, but it's a sweet little gem of a movie. And when people find it, there's something. It's great wish fulfillment. I don't know. The kids are funny. The adults are more immature than any of the kids. All the adult characters are great. Yeah, we had a lot of Twin Peaks on there with Bruce and Kimmy Robertson and Bruce. What's his name? David Duchovny.
David Duchovny, yes.
He hit me up at lunch. He goes, how do you get a better agent? How do you get better jobs? And I said, I didn't even eat. I just sat on the steps of my trailer and I told David, it was one of his first jobs. I go, here's what you do. And I guess he did it. I went up for Red Shoe Diaries, like 6 months after we did Don't Tell Mom. And Duchovny books it. I'm like, oh my God, all right. I'm not right for that. Then he gets X-Files and I was pissed.
I'm surprised you didn't get you a spot on X-Files.
I know. And Twin Peaks was huge, and I was just asking him and Kimmy the whole time, like, what happened? What happens next on Twin Peaks? And they're like, we can't tell you. Damn.
Let me ask you this real quick. Yes. Let me ask you this. What was your favorite role that you played in your entire career?
It is Kenny.
It is Kenny?
It is Kenny. Cousins was an amazing experience with Ted Danson, Isabel Rossellini, Sean Young, William Peterson, Lloyd Bridges, directed by Joel Schumacher. That was the most amazing movie to work on because it was more like we hung out and they happened to roll cameras. The Don't Tell Mom, though, was an affectation. It was a character that was so far from me. I'm a theater nerd and a band nerd and straight edge. I did not smoke weed or really don't drink, So I get the movie and I'm doing it. And we're kind of shooting in order, right? So we finally finished all the exterior stuff and a month and a half into schedule. We're at the house and I step out of my trailer and I smell weed. Good weed. What's going on? I hit up my stand and I go, Jeff, what's going on? Where do you smell weed? He goes, oh, everybody smokes weed. The producers are heads. I go, what? He goes, Christina smokes it. I go, what? Well, it's a Warner Brothers picture. Of course you don't. I go, really? How do they get it? Because yeah, craft service sells it. You're I walk over to craft service. Hi, I'll take a Dr. Pepper and an 1/8 of kind. But we shot it in sequence, and Kenny is a stoner that cleans up. So I was sober for the stone parts and stoned for the sober parts.
incredible. That is an awesome story.
Now there's a crossover scene. When I say, hey, get out. Oh, I'm high. We're not smoking on screen, we're smoking catnip, which is disgusting. It's this white hot smoke and it reads really well on screen, but it just gives you a headache and it's terrible.
God.
It's funny, I did another movie with Jay Underwood. It was out in the middle of like Ohio, and the crew, the directors, producers go, all right, we're gonna have a bong rehearsal. And I said, you're having a bong rehearsal for actors from Hollywood? It's a waste of money, man.
It must have been an experience. All right, let's see who else we got here. Anybody? Right back there on the right.
How was it playing your part in the movie, and are you still in contact with any of the other actors?
Yes, the physicality of playing Kenny was tough because I had to get there earlier than anybody else for the wig. The wig was a hand-laced wig. I had to do a life cast. There was 2 of them. It was a pain. It took an hour or 2 to get it on. I was way in before Christina. They looked at her. They're like, oh, she looks good. All right, go. Joanna would come in about a half hour after me. Joanna being because she had a wig too. And then it's hot. It's the middle of the summer. I'm wearing the jeans and the leather jacket and the wig, which has got like human hair and yak hair. So it's just hot. It's just hot. And then the kitchen. So the kitchen, we shot in order, and they took a nice house and they sent the family on a trip and they wrecked the house. They used like coffee on the wall. Like they just made it. It was. The kitchen got worse and worse as we went. And that clown dog is just McDonald's or In-N-Out or whatever. And we would be left in the bag for days. And so there's flies in the movie. I don't know if you can see in the print, there's flies in the kitchen. It stunk in that kitchen. So I was very glad when we got to the part where we cleaned everything up, because finally so it was hot, it was smelly. I give it out to Christina. All of the scenes where she's upstairs changing, doing her makeup, doing her hair, it's 120 degrees up there because they couldn't run the AC and all the heat just hits the top of the house. So I don't know how she did it. They just pat her down every take.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. The heat was, it was up in Canyon Country or whatever during the summer. When they shot the remake, it was cold. It was really cold. We're in the same location, shooting the same party, and everyone's got parkas.
I saw the behind the scenes video.
Thank you, I shot that. Yes.
Yeah,
I shot the behind the scenes of Don't Tell Mom Babysitters at the remake. Go see it. It's on the YouTube with the thing. I'm very proud of that.
it's awesome, yeah. Let's see, who else do we have here? Anybody? Right down here. Yeah, right down here. You've had your hand up for a while. So.
Oh God, what the hell are you gonna ask?
In a time where Hollywood is making all these remakes from decades ago, now with the Goonies coming out as well, can we expect anything, a sequel or a Kenny spinoff?
Is the Goonies thing real? I thought that was a...
Real. Is it? I was wondering the same thing.
And can we start a petition?
Who should I call? Should I call Sean? Just ask him? I don't know. I saw so many fake posters in the last week. Really? It's real? All right. I mean, that'd be great. That'd be great. What's the question on? They're going to remake any of this stuff? For me?
Do you expect a spin-off of Kenny or a sequel of any sort?
Do people want to see a 54-year-old Kenny? You know, you'd have a weed and waffle store, and he'd deliver like weed and waffles to you, right? Catering. KC Catering, dude. He'd totally all the way.
Well, instead of Julia Child, be working on Gordon Ramsay recipes.
We had a sequel. It was Don't Tell Mom We Lost Walter. And one of the websites did a typo and left out the L, and they said, Don't Tell Mom We Lost Water. And I went, that's a better movie. The idea is just, we lost water. That's fantastic. These dumbass kids make sense. I love it. I love that people would love to see that. I don't know how that's going to work. I know that Christina is probably not going to do on-camera work anymore. I have a script right now. And and that's what's, that's what's great is, I got to see Christina dance, and I got to work with her, when her health is different than it is now. And she's very open about it, but it's also very rough for her. It's very hard to watch that. It's very hard to go through that with her. So I appreciate that we can all enjoy her here. And we have her as well forever. And there's AI. We just gotta have her sign the thing. And then we can have Swell all back again. We also lost Zach. We lost Christopher Pettit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was tough because he was young. He was pretty young. He was hanging out with some the bad kids.
Oh.
Yeah. And Danielle, I see Danielle all the time. I know somebody, if I asked if we talked to the cast and stuff like that. Yeah, Danielle. Joanna, friends with Joanna. We were just having a big fight over actors having to win a scene. Joanna goes, I hate, she was in class or something. She goes, I hate these young actors. They think they have to win the scene. And I go, well, of course they do. Comedy is aggression. She goes, what? I go, yeah, Saturday Night Live. And like, whatever. Comedy is truth. It's hard. It hurts. And if you're not trying to win the scene, what are you even in the scene for? I haven't talked to her since that. This was about 6 weeks ago. Sorry, Joanna. I know we're fighting. This is like a very deeply held actor, please. She's just an amazing, amazing actor, an amazing performer, amazing woman. Kimmy, we see Kimmy at autograph conventions too, and we're definitely trying to get as many people as we can together for a convention. Yeah.
Don't tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead convention, as many cast members as possible. That would really be awesome.
I mean, their stories are probably amazing. They probably have amazing stories. Everybody I talked to, there's a cast and crew picture I posted. Somebody had posted it and I reshared it, and just came flashing back how many people were involved in that. And there's a lot of characters to juggle, and everyone's just so fleshed out. As soon as they come in, their bit is served by them, the performer, the material. We cut slivers here or there just to move something within, but we never cut any single scene. Everything we shot was up there.
That's incredible. Absolutely. Anyone have a question out there? Yes, Miss, right here on the end of left side.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
That's all right. So you talked about the script and how there was constant quotable lines, 2 or 3 a page. How often do people just see you in the grocery store and start telling you that dishes are done? And what's the weirdest place people do these things to you?
Out of context is tough, but I do have a day job. I do tours over at Sony Studio Tours. I have a couple of guests here that I met on my tour. And I'll be just working. I'm opening the thing, getting the cart, and there's logging people saying, hi, welcome to Sony. Have you been here before? Okay. And I'll be here and I'll hear, dishes are done. You'll be a fan. Or, are you Keith Coogan? Yeah, hi, it's Keith. What? And it's so weird in my blue Sony uniform and everything at work. But I love it. I get to run around, the lot that I shot Little House and Chips and Super Train at Joan of Arcadia. We got a street named after my grandfather across the street. Coogan Circle is the shortest and furthest from the studio, just like his career was. And so just to be still in Hollywood and working occasionally. Go watch Team of Two, dropped on Amazon about 2 weeks ago. Absolutely ridiculous movie. It's filled with people who just answer the phone. Yes, I'll do it. Eric Roberts, Ken Kavician, Lorenzo Lamas, Keith Coogan. It's fantastic. And it's one of those fun, silly movies. People wonder why they don't make movies like Police Academy or Better Off Dead. Or this is one of those. And fun. The movies should be, for the lower the budget, the way more fun it is to do the movie.
Keith is a tour guide over at Sony, so everybody go and take a tour.
So yeah, I'll get recognized occasionally. One time I got pulled over, and I was gutter balling, and I'm on my way to do looping for Cheetah. And I'm like, I gotta get to, and I pull over. The guy pulls me over, and he says, you can't really. Thanks, Mom, by the way, for teaching me how to gutter ball. Appreciate that. Yeah. My mom's back there, by the way. And the guy is giving me the ticket, and he looks down, and he goes, wait a second. You think, yeah, I look familiar to him. He thinks he saw me on the blotter that morning from the call of the police. It was like a wanted. Why do you look familiar? I'm like, I'm in movies or whatever. He had daughters. They'd seen Adventures of Babysitting. I got off with a warning. That was one of the greatest things. And then also people are like, are you Danny Bonaducci? Are you Will Wheaton? Are you? That's fine too. That's fine. I don't care.
By the way, I took the Warner Brothers tour the other day. The tour guide, his name is Reno, he wanted me to tell you their stage is bigger than Sony.
Inside. Stage 16 at Warner Brothers is 93 feet of usable space. However, you go down a floor. It's the One-Eyed Willie ship, the water stage. Stage 27, Sony, is 80 feet tall on the outside. It's 4 inches taller than the outside of stage 16.
Yep.
But stage 16 has more usable space. So yeah, it's a pissing contest between Louis B. Mayer and the Warner Brothers.
Yeah, they said you guys have been arguing about it for the longest time.
And I understood MGM was 399 acres. I thought it was the largest lot in town. Universal's 400. Oh my God, 1 acre. Oh, it's terrible. But I do want you to come to Sony studio tours. I do a tour. We have a lot of guides, though. It's pretty random. And talk about the history of it, what's going on now. My family got to see film invented. They got to see talkies invented, color, TV. I got to start in TV, do film, and then see it switch to digital and then to streaming. So our family's been around for all of movies.
Right.
And I am just grateful. I'm still SAG. I still got an agent. Still, trying at this. I know a lot of people who've given up, and I'm like, I can't do it.
You never give up, and that's a big thing in the industry. A lot of people just want to give up, don't they? After, if they're a child actor and then they, their careers die down a bit, a lot of them just eventually give up, don't they? But they do it, but they shouldn't.
Yeah, you have to want it. And there's a Sid Marty Croft. Well, you give up, you've done, it's Wednesday, and you get your stuff and you leave town. And
Right.
Thursday the phone rings.
Yep, exactly.
And I've said the quote is this, I can't guarantee success. You can pound away at this, have patience, persistence. I can't guarantee nothing. I can guarantee failure. Quit, give up. I can guarantee you won't make it if you quit. And that's all that's really kept me going on it.
Absolutely, you never gave up, and that's what really matters not just your career, but any career, anyone's career, whether you're an actor, you're a executive, what have you, just never give up, because there's always tomorrow and new opportunities gonna rise. Absolutely.
I can't, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anyone in casting?
Anybody casting? Yeah. Keith and I will work together. We'll be like Laurel and Hardy.
Who's on first?
I don't know. What's on set? You're telling me.
So that I was not prepared for this.
I wasn't planning on doing a routine with you. Who else do we have out here? Over there.
Hi, you mentioned this is a movie you actually like, watching, and you will watch your own movie.
Yeah.
What other movie would you say in your catalog that you would actually sit down and watch, or you have watched a lot?
Oh, well, we've had screenings of Adventures in Babysitting, which really has a lot of heart, and audiences plays very, very well. Toy Soldiers, definitely is fun with a crowd. I think the New Bev have done a double feature that was great. We're putting Mahoney, and we're trying to get like a Hiding Out or Book of Love kind of stuff in there. Book of Love, right? And we used to have meetings. Bob Shea, chairman of New Line, who directed it, it was his directorial debut, and we would have meetings every year, and he'd tell us an updated total of how much he lost on Book of Love. $1.5 million! All right. Oh man, it's hard to find too, but I think it's on DVD. But no streaming. There's also I'm really proud of the ski movie, the ninja movie, the surf movie, the 130-foot snake movie, the runaway train movie, have a lot. Tubi is Keith Coogan heaven for all the B cuts.
We have about time for about three or four questions, but I'm just kind of curious, Keith, what are like 2 or 3 of your favorite all-time movies? Just like,
Jaws, Blade Runner, Empire. And Sullivan's Travels, Sunset Boulevard, Fountainhead, Doctor Strangelove, yeah.
He said 3, not a million.
I have them ranked, and every once in a while they fight, and, you know.
Sullivan's Travels is great. I'm a big fan of the Lady Eve.
Yeah.
Henry Fonda doing that pratfall is just, it's gold.
Jaws has been on my list since I was 6, but I have been thinking about it lately. I don't know, I think every last bit of trivia, every screening, I might move Blade Runner up. I don't know yet, I'm there. And then of course there's Buckaroo Banzai Across the 8th Dimension, so that's a fantastic movie. I love Coleman. I got to meet John Waters. I love all of his stuff, trash cinema. I love grindhouse stuff. All zombie movies and all that aliens and stuff. I just love movies.
Yes, if you want, we have one right over there.
Yeah, just a quick one. During the cleanup montage in the film, how long did it actually take to do the whole cleanup for that whole thing? You know, because you mentioned how just disgusting and dirty the whole place was. Like, what was the whole process like that during the film?
In my mind, I'm looking at the production sheet, and I think it was half a day. Yeah, we probably had shot some stuff up until lunch, took a lunch, and then we banged out all the... It was definitely at a time the sunset for the mowing the dust. He's just mowing dust. And all of a sudden there's these new friends that they're not my friends. I don't know who they are. They called them as extras to this day. And to this day people are like, dude, I was one of your friends who helped you clean the house. I'm like, I don't know you. Don't remember you. The montages are, because you don't have to have sound when you're shooting, and that just saves so much time. You do it once. Set the camera, go. Set the camera, go. You bang out the 20 shots you need for a montage really quick. Yeah. So we did cut a scene. Fuck, I just remembered. We cut a scene when we found the pool. We're in the backyard. It's all bushes and bushes, and Melissa goes, "What is this?" I think we have a pool. And we pull back enough, and she jumps in with the scuba equipment. It's all mossy, and she comes up, and she's like, "Creature of the Black Lagoon." And they had divers underwater for her with a breather, and I think we shot it, or got close to, I don't know. That just didn't wind up in the movie. Discovering the pool was a whole beat. Yeah, it didn't wind up in the movie.
That would have been an excellent scene to have in there.
Another thing, back onto the 80s thing, the animation at the beginning of the movie puts it in that ruthless people, outrageous force. Like there's a kind of a vibe, Better Off Dead, One Crazy Summer. Who else had some of the... Which one? Mannequin! That's right. My wife loves Mannequin. Mannequin! Which one?
Loverboy.
Loverboy. I auditioned for Loverboy. Goddamn Patrick Dempsey. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids had it. That's right. That was definitely a 90s thing, the animation.
Yeah, they kind of disappeared then during
It's expensive.
the 90s. Yeah. All right, we got some.
There's somebody way
couple
back
more
here on this
questions.
side that's way
Over there. Let's get one in the back. Way back there.
Who had their hand up for a long time?
in the back there.
You guys are awesome. Thanks for staying, by the way.
Yes, thank
This
you
is
very
amazing.
much.
Thank you.
Hey Keith, in shooting the movie with the Stoner guys, you guys have any wild stories on the set?
No. Honestly, we had heard you can't really smoke weed while you're working, and especially if a scene's about smoking weed, it takes hours to shoot the scene, and everyone's just like, "Oh, they'd be done." So no, but here's something interesting. I knew two of my friends before we did the movie. They were one of my best friends had a band. Mike Coppola was the drummer in my best friend's band. He's the red-haired guy. And I went up for Tax Chicks, he got it. I was so pissed.
Stone Age.
Yes, the Stone Age, thank you, exactly. I auditioned for the Stone Age. And so the guys, that was the thing, is once we had the guys, it was like Hellhound, Lizard, Skull, Mole, and my gang name was Scruffy. That's why he goes, hey Scruff, next time do more Mocha Swiss. So we all had nicknames. The core of us, we, first scene we shot was top of the Lowe's, the Holiday Inn back then. You know, steal your mom's MasterCard. That was totally stolen from Back to the Beach. It was totally a joke from the Back to the Beach, the Nephin and Cello. And
Yeah.
right, they did that like a year before. I'm like, really? You just stole that joke? Whatever, ours was funnier. Yeah, we shot that. That was our first day of shooting as Kenny. And I didn't have the character, I didn't have the voice. So it was just clearing off of these guys. They were the ones I walked past to audition for Kenny. And they had all of those stoners in there, and I busted a wig on in the car and, you know, come back in. I was going for the Clown Dog Boy, but really wanted Kenny. So,
Tell that story.
if you didn't get Kenny, tell that story.
Tell that story.
I get the script and they say, here's the thing for Brian, the Clown Dog Boy. He's this nerd. He's in love with the babysitter. I go, I just did that movie. I was Brad. I was the nerd, and I was in love with the babysitter. And my grandfather had said, never do the same part twice. You know, change it up. You're going to get typecast. Now they call it branding. But grandfather was a character actor. I'm a character actor. One of the characters I can play is the lead. That's fine. So the being able to switch it up and stuff like that. I went up for Brian, but I really liked the Kenny role. And Kenny was 15. I was 20. And my agent said, you're too old. He didn't even submit me for it. I was pissed. So had I done Book of Love? No, I had done Book of Love with Chris Young. And Chris Young helped me. We bought a wig. I used a skull vest he had, some torn jeans. He basically dressed me, my Kenny drag, and I had that ready in the car. So I go on an audition for Brian the Clown Dog Boy, and I do it as fine, mid. But I asked the casting director, I go, can I come back in a little bit and show you something? And they turned over into casting Kenny. So I go down to the car and I change and everything, and I come back in, and there's all the stoner guys are there with real long hair. And I kicked in the door. Hi, who's in charge? I kind of blacked out. I don't remember what I did. And I got called 3 days later and I got the part. And love that I proved my agent wrong. And he's like, no, and I got it. I was really, really proud of that. And then the billing was rough because I really wanted, you know, Keith Coogan as Kenny. That was big to me. And I got and Keith Coogan. It's fine. So I really had to take some time to let that go. It meant a lot to me at 20. And I let my agent go over the billing. And I never really recovered. He was my in to TriStar and Disney and Warner Brothers and Universal. And that's why I'm in snake movies and ski pictures and surf movies. And so I learned that your pride could get in the way. Take the billing you got, you know. But the part that, for some reason, and this is like actors, they work all their life, they want to change the world. There's some actors, I don't want to, nobody needs to know my politics. I just want to entertain people. But I've done movies about like McCarthyism and pesticides and like clean water and food and important things. And the one thing I'm known for is doing the dishes. What's interesting though is I've had a lot of people come up to me and say they were burnouts and saw the movie and they joined Culinary Academy and now they're a 5-star chef at a resort in Florida. So people have done the Kenny and not just a hand, like a lot of people they've written in, they showed up at autograph conventions and told the story and I'm like, that's the movie that changes people's lives of all of the things I've done. So I'm so happy with it. You're so buried in it when you're doing it. You don't know if it's gonna pay off. You don't know if it's gonna work. You gotta trust the director. You gotta trust the editor. You really gotta, you make 3 friends, the writer, so you have good words to say, the cameraman, so that you look good on film, and the editor, so you stay in the picture. And there was a million chances for any of those kids in all of our business to get lost, you know, in this movie, but there was a focus from the director that all of these bits are in the script and all of them in there. And so Kenny became this creation that was very far from me at the time, but kind of is really me. I mean, I think if there, because it's like that subconscious, to be able to play a selfish bastard who just honestly doesn't care. And he doesn't care, and he's proud of it. No, I don't care about you guys. I don't care about my family. You gotta bribe your friends? Yeah, of course you do. I'm a piece of shit, and I know it. And to have him kind of even question at the end. You don't see him really change. Yeah, he cuts his hair. It's a nice physical change. I love the reaction you guys did, by the way, with the haircut. But when him would question him, maybe it's just time to do something. And I said, and if that's all it took for a couple of people to go to Culinary Academy, that's amazing to me. So yeah, I love Kenny. And that's gonna be my whole rest of my life and career is to work to find a better quote. And if not, then fine. That's what's on my headstone. Here lies Keith Coogan. The dishes are done.
Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Coogan. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what you applaud for.
Thank you, really, honestly, great show. I'm really good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You guys, Keith is going to be around to sign more autographs and do more selfies. If you want to stay around, just if you can form a line that goes outside the theater door, we don't want to clog up the lobby, and he'll be around to do more. So thank you all so much for coming.